Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another entry in our CommunityCast series. In this match, we're going to have a showdown between the Greenskins, who shall be led by the Git Crumper, who's actually Slade X, and he's going to be facing off against Boro Crowblade, who's actually brought a pretty cheesy build over here. You can see it's going to be the dreaded triple Mortis Engine, triple Black Coach Vargulf, Necromancer, and it looks like Heinrich Kemmler build. So pretty nasty stuff. I've actually run into a build like this before on ladder, and I have to say this is like one of the main reasons why tournament rules do exist. But nonetheless, it was a very fun replay. Quite excited to show you guys. So let's take a look at the Greenskin army. So right here, you can see the Night Goblin Shaman going to be cackling up on the hill, going to be dropping some bows right here, or in the form of Vindictive Glare on top of the Mortis Engine. And it looks like Slade has probably encountered this guy before because his build is pretty well designed to deal with it. In the backline, it's all archers. I mean, there isn't even really a backline. I mean, I guess there is a little goblin here in the front. But a very well thought out army, because apparently his opponent brings the same army like every time on ladder, and it's just like always like to a T. So he has two of the Arachnarch Spiders. Now these guys are going to be pretty good compared to how they used to be. In this matchup, or not this matchup, but in this, I guess, specific build circumstance, just out of the blue, wildness. These guys have anti-large now, so they're going to be very good against Mortis Engines, Vargulfs, things like that, and are going to be a bit of a roadblock, because normally a build like this is just going to try and bull rush you. It's just going to bull rush you, move in a big Haggard Blob, Invocation of Nehek, just terror out you, and that's how they're going to win most of their games. But look at the bounce of power before the game even starts. Like, maybe that's one of the reasons why a build like this can just crumple other builds quick, is because it carries so much weight in the bounce of power. I'm not really sure, but anyways, in the front line, it's going to be Orc Air Boys across the whole board. I think the Rusty Airs is mixing in the back, but the more durable of the Archer variant. The Goblins would run pretty quick if anything that causes terror gets near him, but the Orcs will last a little bit longer. For his leadership, he does also have the Night Goblin War Boss, and it seems like it's pretty well thought out. The Night Goblin War Boss is going to run in there, try and use the Tormentor Sword to lock down all those troops. Up in the high ground, Night Goblin Shaman's going to be shooting. We have some harass over here from this side. Another Night Goblin Shaman, just in case this one gets black coached. And then the Spiders are going to run in with the Unbreakable AP Gloonies while all the Archers just unload. So, I don't know, even still, it's going to be tricky. So, let's see if he can conquer the Vampire Count Cheese right here. So the Mortis Engine's going to be surging forward, taking a little bit of fire, but of course they do heal. So it's going to you're going to have to pull a little bit more punch into those guys. But nonetheless, he is getting them closer to their healing caps. Looks like maybe he was going after Heinrich Kemmler, and he gets some pretty good shots there with the Vindictive Glare. And it looks like the Spiders have been summoned from the Arachnarch Queen, plus the Unbreakable Goblins are going to be going in, but I like this. The Night Goblin Squig Hopper is going to be jumping in and dropping his Tormentor Sword, so it's a pretty scary little situation for him. He needs to get out ASAP, but he does get the Tormentor Sword, and doesn't lock down everything, but it looks like he does get the triple Mortis Engine, so they're going to be taking a lot of firepower right now. And you can see, look at the Scroll of Shielding, Undeath Resurgent, all of the buffs going down from the Vampire Counts, and somehow still ahead on that bounce of power despite taking all this damage. You can see that this Mortis Engine in the back is going to be getting beat up pretty bad. But now the Spiders are going to be coming in. But you would think an army like this wouldn't be able to actually deal with the Spiders at all, right? There's no anti-large. Our Black Coaches and Mortis Engines going to do it, but you'd be surprised. I've actually seen this, and it can do a lot of damage. You can see the Arachnarch Queen, for some reason, I'm not sure why, maybe because I think is Krell in there? I think Krell's going to be getting summoned, but the Arachnarch Queen is taking so much damage, and I'm really not sure how. But anyways, beautiful play so far, using the tar pit to kind of lock these guys down. From there, all the archers just have a nice little concave of fire, so it very much reminds me of StarCraft 2, when you get your Marines or whatever other range units you're using in a big firing concave. So when your opponent collapses in the middle, they get shot from the outsides. And another very good Vindictive Glare coming down. The Night Goblin is going to be hiding in the corner. No point to just send him to his doom. Greenskins really do suffer. And look at this. Both the Spiders somehow get beaten down. I mean, Mortis Engines have some decent damage output. 120 weapon strength, and the Black Coaches, I suppose, have 120 as well. So I guess it's just a volume of fire thing. But now the Vampire Counts, they're going to be surging into the back line, which is going to be tough. However, Slade has dealt with a couple of the Mortis Engines. So you can see all of them, actually. I think he killed all three. So, all three Mortis Engines have fallen at the cost of the Arachnarch Queen, essentially a couple, cooldowns and abilities, and the Bounce Fire is still in the favor of the Vampire Counts a little bit. Krell has also been summoned, but Krell has a pretty long cooldown. But again, he is one of the new summon units. Well, all the new units are the new summon units. But he is going to be disappearing after a set amount of time, so he probably won't last as long as he usually does. This Arachnarch Spider is going to be getting chased off, and probably will come back. I would imagine the other one just going to be cleaning up scraps here. And a lot of the Greenskin forces are compromised by zombies and summons and other stuff like that, but they are Orc Archers, so the Orc Archer is going to be a little bit stronger, but the dreaded Black Coach coming in there, rolling dirty, and it's pretty hard to actually shoot the Black Coach with missiles. They kind of play very similar to how the Doomflayer plays, for example. The Doomflayer is it's a cherry unit like this. It has a relatively small hitbox compared to other, monstrous type units. So the Black Coaches are a little bit tough to take down, but the Arachnarch Spider is going to be surging in, trying to get on Heinrich Kemmler, who is on horseback. So the anti-large bonus of the Arachnarch Spider is going to be coming into play here. Vargulf's almost dead, so it looks like Slade is kind of methodically working through this army, trying to pick off all of its assets here, and now he's going to be going after the Vargulf. So the Vargulf might be crumbling here pretty soon. It's got about 1500 HP. Another Spider is coming back, and some of the Orc Archers are going to be rallying back because, again, they're not as bad, not as low leadership as Goblins. Nonetheless, so there's still a very nasty Death Star here for the Vampire Counts. They still have Heinrich Kemmler, they have Invocations, they have triple Black Coach, and it's going to be a lot to stop nonetheless. In the meantime, Krell's almost gone, so Krell's going to be dissipating here in just a moment. I believe his unbinding is like something like 80 or 90 seconds or something like that, so he will be disappearing here in just a moment. And the Black Coach Goon Squad is just going from archer to archer, but this is the thing. Playing a very like wide spread out build like this is very, very good against like these type of Death Star builds. So for example, if any of you guys watched the 2v2 tournament series we had on the channel a while back, like the big major tournament, there was a lot of popular builds that were using Vampire Counts as well as Tomb Kings and spamming Invocation to Heck in this big Death Star, but basically just spread out all over the map, get a ton of missile units, and make it so they can't like address all the threats at once. If you try and meet them head up and fight them and just the meat spin blob, you're gonna have a really bad time. But if you spread out and pressure them from multiple angles, the blob can only be so many places at once, and if the blob splits up, it loses its functionality. So that's kind of the whole principle with this type of play. So Heinrich Kemmler and company still going though. I mean, the Necromancer's in good shape on his horseback, a lot of Invocations. He probably is stroking that Forbidden Rod. And yeah, the triple Black Coach is still going. So despite a very well thought out counter build here from Slade X, it still ends up being a pretty close fight. So the Bounce Bar is still in the favor of the Vampire Counts, which is pretty crazy. Heinrich Kemmler here is at his healing cap. Black Coaches don't look like they're anywhere near their healing caps, and the Orcs are going to be getting rode down most likely by the Black Coaches. But the Goblin sees blood, so he's going to probably be dropping a Tormentor Sword here in a moment. So he does torment Heinrich Kemmler, and the Spiders are going to be coming in for that booty right now, and it is not going to be good for Heinrich Kemmler, as these two Spiders, though, very beat up, or one of them is very beat up. And Silver Chevrons, I wonder if he earned that. Heinrich Kemmler gets blasted in the back by the Night Goblin Shaman, getting some huge damage. So this is a very nice pick. And as the Death Star does start to dissipate, more and more opportunities to kind of strike are going to present themselves. And you can see that Heinrich Kemmler is going to be dropping some zombies, but these Spiders don't give a shit about zombies. And in the meantime, Wargrove's Mage Marauder is going to be jumping in. So this is a really good opportunity to kind of cut the head off the snake, get rid of those heavy Invocations. Granted, there still is an Necromancer, but that is going to be big. Vampire Counts do also suffer a lot when they lose their Lords, which apparently used to be like in Tabletop. When Vampire Counts would lose their Lords, their army would really, really struggle because they had these like Blender Lords, right? That were just super powerful. Or at least that's what Italian Spartacus tells me. So here you can see that the Spiders are going to be fighting zombies and just the chaff. The Night Goblin Shaman needs to be, or War Boss needs to be careful. He probably needs to jump out of there. If he does get gooned out by the Black Coaches, it could present a pretty serious leadership situation. In the meantime, there are some Greenskins in the back who could come back. There's some Orc Air Boys here, and it looks like some over here who have just rallied. And you can see that Slade is going to be moving these guys back in to try and deal with this Death Star here. So in the meantime, the Black Coaches are taking a lot of fire, withering down here, starting to actually take some substantial damage. The Arachnarch Spider actually got really beat up. So you guys saw it. It was at about 60-70%, and now it's getting lower, but the wall has been popped, which is going to help these Spiders a little bit, but with a little bit of punch. And Heinrich Kemmler's almost dead. He's very, very low. He probably has a couple hundred HP if even. And Heinrich Kemmler has fallen to the volley of Orc arrows, Orc errors, as they would say, I suppose. And it looks like the Black Coaches are going to be separating now. And this Spider is still going strong. The Arachnarch Queen quite thick here, holding it down and really allowing these archers to get some good value. And I think the Night Goblin War Boss is still alive somehow in that pit. And he's been able to assassinate that Necromancer. And look at that. Bounce Power is actually still in the favor of the Vampire Counts despite all that, which is nuts. But I mean, I guess the Orcs don't have much left. Their two Spiders are offline, and they just have a bunch of like haggard archers who are low on ammo everywhere. So I can see why the game would think that they're ahead in the Bounce Power. So the Night Goblin War Boss is going to be pulling back. It looks like there's going to be a Vindictive Glare going down right there on top of the Chariots, or I should say the Black Coaches. And yeah, I actually saw the new Black Coach. I think there's a new Black Coach model for Age of Sigmar, which looks pretty funny. It almost tempts me to play them. So anyways, Black Coach is going to be coming in, just running just all over these Orc Air Boys. Those guys are just going to be getting bro charged by the Chariots. Apologies for that, I accidentally hit the keyboard. And the Night Goblin Shaman going to be popping the Wand of Jet, and all the zombie summons who, were there from Heinrich Kemmler and the Necromancer are now going to be disappearing. So it's really going to kind of open up the firing lanes here on top of these very, very, I suppose they're not super heavily armored. They have 60 armor. But the Night Goblin War Boss is, very capable here. The Arachnarch Spider coming back is a pretty huge boon, but still that bouncing power just will not go away from the Vampire Counts. One of the Black Coaches is very low, and I think if he's able to kind of get this Black Coach down, he should be able to manage the other one with the Night Goblin War Boss plus the Spider. And is the Queen coming back as well? So the Arachnarch Queen looks like she's on a vacation. Yeah, she's not coming back. She's pissed off over there. She's going to be running back to the hills. But this little Night Goblin War Boss that could. This guy is just a true hero of his people, just going to be hunting these Chariots down, trying to slay this foul cheese, and it looks like he might get in there and do it. I don't know, though. The Chariot's doing a lot of work. I mean, this Orc Air Boy is just in so much trouble here. They're shaken, but look at them. Goblins would have turned and run, but these brave Orc boys, they're going to be crumping for sure. So these black coaches just sitting in there. They do have sustained combat traits. So for anyone who doesn't know how black coaches work, they work very similar to a chariot unit. However, they're a little bit better in sustained combat because the longer they are in combat, they get a multitude of buffs, which makes them quite a bit stronger. So we can actually take a look here. We'll show you guys for anyone who's new to the game. So you can see here, they get the black size, they get the unholy vigor for that, and then at their last one is the black nimbus. So 44% ward save is pretty nuts, which makes them really, really gross in the late game here, as they're just basically taking like half damage from everything. But the Night Goblin Warboss still fighting in there. The Arachnarch Spider is going to be breaking. The archers are shooting in, and it looks like one of the black coaches is actually going to be crumbling here, which is going to be huge. If we can get rid of that, it's going to be great. But the Night Goblin Warboss is still taking quite a bit of damage from these coaches, and it looks like one black coach is going to be going down right here. And the Orc Archers, we have pretty ample ammunition here on the Rusty Errors. And these other Orc Air Boys, one of them is out of ammo, but the other one has some okay ammunition as well. I don't think the Spider's going to be coming back to be terribly useful, but it looks like the Greenskins, even the Night Goblin Shaman's throwing in there and fighting, and everyone's just, you know, they got their axes out for Harambe. They're trying to do their thing. And yeah, just such a close battle, but I have to say, it looks like Slade X is going to be taking this one, as vampire counts are leaderless, they're struggling, and man, I can tell you from experience, like, even if you think you have that cheese under control, like if you run into a build like this, it can sometimes be super, super tough. But Slade played a super good game. I mean, despite some very dire circumstances of his spiders running off and just like his opponent getting into his back line, into the archers, he got some huge value. His initial burst damage in killing the triple Mortis engine was so clutch. I mean, if one of those Mortis engines had survived, it would have been a lost game. If one. But he was able to get them all in that initial alpha strike, coming in with the spiders, the summons, the tormentor swords, and the unbreakable goblins. And was able to beat that, which was pretty great. So I know it's a little bit of a different, video. Normally we feature games that are generally under certain tournament rules, but occasionally it's funny to just show you guys a replay like this, so you can see justice being served. And yeah, it was great. Those Orc Air Boys were MVPs. And on top of that, Savage Orcs did good, and the Spiders were also pimping it up pretty solid. So yeah, great stuff. Well played. Well played. It was quite a bit of fun to see. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Greenskins versus Vampire Count showdown. It was definitely very unusual. And yeah, again, thanks to Slade for sending in the replay, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.